Good day, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show, and really, happy to be back after a long break. I started yesterday with an amazing guest, 10 years old. It really inspired me. But today we're going to the US and we're going to talk business. We're going to talk about women in business and really focusing on the importance of having several stream of income. And I'm going to have two businesswomen. They're going to talk about their own experience, but also really delve into what is the experience, of having a family, but also being, in business where it's not always easy. So just to give you, a little bit of insight at who I have today. So today I have two guests, so it's gonna be amazing. So Alysha Frieden, she's an entrepreneur and skincare business owner, but she will, she have an inspiring story that we really want to build on today as we go through our conversation. And we have Mandy Master. She's a serial entrepreneur and she's also a business owner. So make sure you get ready with your pen, your paper, because I think you're going to learn a lot from them. And please, tune in and participate, because your view is also very important. We value your opinion, and it makes things really more interactive and more dynamic. So, without further ado, we're going to start and bring Alysha and Mandy to start this amazing and very, very important conversation for women. So don't go anywhere. We will bring Alysha and Mandy. Another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show, the show that is brought to you by the Virai Telekima Global Leadership Organization.
Real is important is if you just look at the word compassion, when it's behavior, it's something that can be learned, and it is something that we can embody through habits and through our daily actions.
To get this idea that if we interject this wisdom intentionally, I call them needle movers. It's the needle mover that's missing.
Don't deprive the world of your greatness. Please. Don't do that anymore. Dare to excel, dare to be sexy, dare to be you, dare to be the best version of yourself. Impact yourself positively, and from there impact others. And you are not alone.
So we are here. Welcome, Mandy and Alysha. Welcome to the Greatness Engineering Hour show. I'm actually excited because that's a very important topic that we're gonna touch on, especially on Women's History Month. So it's just on point. But before I get too excited, I just want you to introduce yourself. Let us know who you are and any important thing that we should know about you. So I'll start with Mandy if you're ready, Mandy.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here and excited to share my journey and my story thus far. I am currently a VP of supply chain for a very large fitness franchise here in the US, actually founded in Australia. I have I'm a big believer in multiple streams of income. So in my day job, I do transform things and really kind of take things out of the closet and put them back together has really been my niche. But I do believe in multiple streams of income, which is what we're here to talk about today, in addition to just business experience. And so Forbes will tell you that the most wealthy people in the world actually have 8 streams of income, and I'm sitting at about 5 right now. So between my full-time job and the other businesses that we're dabbling in and things that we do, properties that we own, we're sitting, actually, no, I take that back. It's more like 6 or 7. So we're getting there.
Wow.
But it is definitely a journey. I'm a mom of 2 little girls that I treasure and adore. I have a couple of stepchildren as well. So we are a very, very busy household. And I couldn't do what I do without the love and support of my family.
Fantastic. What about you, Alysha?
Wow, Mandy, every time I hear that, I'm blown away by how you do everything and juggle everything. Thank you so much for having us. Thank you so much. This is just a wonderful platform. I love the idea. My name is Alysha Frieden. I am based in Dallas, Texas. I was born in Houston. My background really is corporate America. For 15 years, I wore a suit and did the 8 to 6 run and really just did not have a lot of autonomy in my day. I felt like I was in, 2 very large corporate companies where I had phenomenal training, made a lot of great connections. But at the end of the day, I never felt like I owned my day. And I knew that needed to change at some point, but I gave it a good 15 years. And the money was great. That's what I needed for then. But I knew that eventually I was going to need something that allowed me balance, freedom of choices, allowing me to be the type of mom that I wanted to be, as well as unlimited income potential. So I switched gears and I decided to own my own business. So that's where I am today.
Wow. So how difficult it has been to switch from, such a prominent position to really the uncertainty of being an entrepreneur, especially as a woman. It's even more difficult because, we know that funding is sometimes very difficult. So even starting is a problem. So how did you leave all of this, How did you feel about, switching and
Sure. This is geared towards me still, right?
Yes, still
okay,
toward
cool.
you, yeah.
So, it was definitely something I was apprehensive about at first. Having the security and the 401k and all that comes with a corporate career, that it was something I was nervous about, but my family and everything that I wanted more trumped everything else. And it allowed me to propel myself forward and go for it. And my husband is a huge supporter of me and my dreams and the balance that I crave. So he is also something and someone that helped fuel my ability to go for it.
Mm-hmm. And I like that because it's important to to note that we need support, especially support from our partners, our close close relatives, to be able to make it. We can't do it on our own, and
It's so
that's
true.
an important thing to say. So, Mandy, I mean, you've managed to build all those stream of income. What do you think? It's important to have several stream of income, and also how did you do that?
Yeah, so it is. So I'm kind of where Alysha was a few years
Hmm.
back. Excuse me, juggling a lot of things. One of the things I failed to mention in my intro is I am a single mom on top of it all. So
Wow.
people, I think I'm just a unicorn in a sense, and being able to manage a lot of things easily. I do have a partner, and he's definitely a huge help. But I think for me is I don't want to keep at this pace forever, right? So I have a vision to eventually be able to leave corporate America. And I know that, and I get paid very well, right? I'm a vice president for a large organization and have been in Fortune 500s and 200s. And so I've made my way through the ranks, and I get paid very well. And so replacing that salary is not super easy, right? So I
Hmm.
know that it takes my ability, it requires some creativity. And I too am a skincare business owner. And that was really the catalyst for opening my eyes to another life that could be out there. Because I bust my tail every single day. I'm tired a lot. I sleep when I can, but I also enjoy the hustle, right? So I
Hmm.
enjoy that challenge. But with that, so I enjoy the challenge. I enjoy the hustle. I know that I'm creating something for myself and my kids. And so that's really what drives me. I want to be able to. I just had somebody tell me the other day, isn't it sad that we work all of our lives and then
Hmm.
as we get older, we finally have the time and the money, but then our body hurts. And so I
Hmm.
don't want those, I don't want that formula. I want to be able to have the time, the energy, and I don't want a body that hurts to still be able to go and run and do with my kids as they choose and as I choose, right? I want to take the trips. I want to. Yesterday we were at the water park and I'm doing all the water slides with them. Just notice
Mhm.
doesn't come out of my mouth when we're doing those things, but I still want to be able to experience that journey with them. And so for me right now, it is putting a little bit of extra time and energy, but I have that vision and I have that light at the end of the tunnel, and that's really what drives me and keeps me going.
Hmm. And the vision is really strong, because that's sometime, especially women, we get lost into raising the kids, taking care of the husband, taking care of the family, and we forget about our own vision, our own dreams. And it's important to to keep it alive and have this vision, how we want to end up in 10 20 years. But Alicia, I just wanted to ask you, because you said as well that you have young children, and you're probably working from home as well. So how do you manage the balance? How do you balance your work and your life balance? Because being an entrepreneur with young children and at home, how do you stay focused? And building this business that you own.
Great question. I am dealing with this scenario right now. My kiddo is sick with a cold. He's in the other room, and I would not be able to be the type of mom that I would be for him today if I didn't have this business.
Mm-hmm.
I would, I was on the way to school. He said, "Mommy, I really don't feel good." We all take COVID tests on a regular basis. I gave him one this morning. He doesn't have COVID, but he doesn't feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And, if I had a job where I had to go to the office, or I didn't feel like I was in control, it wasn't on my terms, I would
Mm-hmm.
either have to send him to school feeling really lousy, or B, I would have to pay someone to take care of him today. And
Mm-hmm.
C, I wouldn't be able to love on him. After this, I'm going to get back in PJs, get on the couch, and spend good quality time and give him some tender, loving care, which kids
Mm-hmm.
really need. And I feel very fortunate that I'm in the position that I'm in, where I can be a mommy that I want to be and still run my business. I want to circle back because you said something that really resonated with me about moms today forgetting themselves. And I started to do that. When I left my career of 15 years in corporate America, I joined my husband in another city where he was a practicing physician, and he still is. And I kind of usurped like everything. I just went away from everything I'd ever done, corporate, family, and I lost a lot of my identity. And I realized after having my twins and being home and not really doing the things that I was used to be doing, that I needed something else because I was going to lose myself. I was, I think a lot of women and some men, they do lose themselves in their children, and they forget about their dreams and their personal goals. And I didn't want to do that for myself and for my kids. When we're our best version of ourselves, when we're producing things that we want to produce, whether it's being fit or making money or, doing a do-it-yourself project, whatever it may be, when we bring ourselves to go for things and not forget who we are, our kids benefit from that. Our kids see like, oh, wow, my mom, my dad are really going for things in life, and they're really happy. And that trickles down, and the kids feel happiness. So I think it's so important that people recognize when they need to do things, when they need to shift, and make sure they're taking care of themselves.
And yeah, we often forget to put the mask first, to get the oxygen, and we end up, not, being able to do anything. So we have quite a lot of people here watching. We have Lillian, she's watching from Switzerland. She's saying hi, and she has a comment as well. To be perfectly honest, corporate might pay good, but you have to also put in long hours, which most people are not willing to do any longer. So most people now want their work-life balance. Yeah, especially now that we've discovered that we can deliver from home. With the pandemic, people just discover we can still deliver and get, the work done. So we have Dr. Susan Walsh. She's, great session. Love the comment. I bust my tail every day. Yes, we are busy woman. And then we have Martin. Martin is in the US. So another great show. Thank you. So we're gonna have a break, and we will be back, with Mandy and Alysha on this very vibrant and very important conversation. So stay tuned. We will be back in few minutes.
Thank you.
So we are back. We are back with Mandy and Alysha. And please, don't forget to take notes, because there have been a lot of, things said, and a lot of good advice and good, insight. So don't lose it, and write it down, share with, anyone any woman, that you know, and make sure that this knowledge travel outside this platform. There's one thing, especially in business, funding has been a big issue for women, and I think that's what actually stopped a lot of women to grow their business, scale their business, and even create multiple stream of income. So how did you manage this part, of the business? When you, especially you, Mandy, not that you have all those stream of income, how did you manage that?
Yeah, I think great question. Again, I mentioned that our skincare business was really the catalyst for me. And actually, we have it was a very, the entry point is just not substantial. So for that, it was something that I was able to jump in with a small investment. I also am not required to have inventory, and I don't have pressure of quotas and things of that nature. And so for me, I was trying to fill some gaps, and I was able to do that initially. And so that really opened my eyes to see what the possibilities were. And then once I started to build that up and really generate some good income from that particular stream, I really started to take a look at things a little bit differently, right? I was always contributing to a 401k. I had these piles of, cash in the bank. And so I really started to look at that a little bit differently, even as well. And so I really started to think about, I can leave it in the bank, and I can have maybe single digit percentages of increase of my finances, or I can take the real estate route. And that's the one that's really been a huge pivot for us as well. So I actually I took some money out and invested it into a piece of property, and I've just watched it incrementally grow. And so the best kind of property is my favorite one, actually, which is the beach house. We have a condo down at the beach that essentially pays for itself, plus it generates income. So here I have a property that I've invested in. And so somebody else pays my mortgage. I also benefit from it monthly because I've got renters in there year round. It's in a place in Texas where it's warm almost all the time. And what I'm able to do there is just continue to let that thing grow. And I enjoy going down there as much as I enjoy having that particular piece of property as well. And so I guess the big thing is I just wasn't scared. I actually had a realtor on that particular one send me a flyer, and in 1 year, that property has increased by 50% in value, in addition to somebody else paying my mortgage and giving me income, right? So that's been my frame of mind, is just, yeah, there's going to be some things that are risky. I haven't always won, actually, in a property that we flipped right before COVID. I lost on that one, but not everything is a loss. And so if you look at the total gamble I'm making, all in all, it is beneficial. Again, I attribute all this back to, I was always the girl that needed the steady Eddie paycheck. I was afraid to make mistakes. And then I took that leap of faith with my skincare business. And that was a platform that opened my eyes to all the things. And with the support and the community of women that we get with our particular brand, we have quite a few executive women like myself. Actually, more than half of the women are working moms similar to myself. And so I thought, if they can do it, I can too. And there's nothing that can stop me. And you hear stories of people with, children with disabilities and special needs, and people with actual disabilities and special needs doing this. There are working moms, there are single moms, there are stay-at-home moms, there are not moms, right? There are college students. There's all kinds of just diversity in the mix of women. And so I was really inspired by that. And so I thought, if they can do it, I can too. And here we are. And I'm really excited about getting a couple more. And like I said, matching my full-time income so that I can eventually, do all these things that I really love and enjoy, the networking aspect of it and all the things that just really fuel my soul, rather than having to go to work every day.
I just have to say, Mandy is such a great example of what women today can do. Find ways of being, be really savvy, be smart about how you're allocating your money. She's educated herself on the best ways to spend money, and when to put it in the bank, and how it's going to grow percentage wise. She has educated herself, and she's made calculated decisions. And I think also, just going and finding things that are low investment, but a high reward, high yield, that, obviously is very smart.
Yeah, and I don't watch TV, just for the record. That's the one thing I had to give up. If that's the worst thing that happens.
That's not a loss right now, so
Well, but I do love social media. I didn't give up Facebook or Instagram, that's for sure.
For your sanity is probably better. So and there's two things that I take from this. There's the inspiration from other women, and that's very important, because sometimes we doubt ourselves, and we basically, there's this imposter syndrome. Who am I to start this business, or can I do it? And we start to live on our fear instead of looking at what we can do, and the ability that we have to do a lot of things. So the inspiration is very important, and that's why as women, and I speak for myself, being a woman in a male dominated environment, it's important to go and talk to other women, to give them the inspiration, and to tell them that if I've done it, you can do it. So don't be afraid. So that's the important bit. And the second thing that I got from what you said is the financial education. And I think I've seen that a lot of women actually are not educated financially, and they can be doctors, they can be well educated in other areas. The finance just lag behind, and that's a key thing that we need to change, as women, understand how we can position ourselves, how we manage money, and how we can invest, especially the investment part. We're good at saving, but investing is something else. So that's important. So for you, Alysha, how did you manage the financial aspect? And obviously you had a good corporate job. I assume that you've used your own fund, but to scale your business, how do you maneuver and manage this part of your entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, so that's another great point, because when I was thinking, what am I going to do next? When I had my babies and I was at home and really feeling like a loss of identity, I thought, am I going to start my own business? Am I going to get a small business loan? Am I going to, partner with people? Am I going to go to VCs? What do I want to do? And at the end of the day, with 10-month-old twins, I thought, I need something turnkey that's low cost, with the backing of a huge, kind of icon that's going to fuel my business and help me scale. That was the path of least resistance. So that is what I chose, and I'm so happy that I did, because it's worked out very nicely. I didn't have to pour a whole bunch of income into starting my business, and I haven't had to maintain and grow it. It's more so been blood, sweat, and tears from me, but but as far as the financial investment, it's been a very low cost. So I feel fortunate. I think if women not have the income that they need to start their business, they need to find something similar to what Mandy and I have done. What's fueled her other businesses, which starting with something that is turnkey, low cost to get going, and a supportive unit that's going to help you scale fast. It doesn't take money sometimes, especially today. We see on social media, you can start something and it can go viral very quickly, and all of a sudden you're getting a ton of sales from people around the world. So this doesn't make sense for everybody. There are going to be business ideas, there are going to be business goals where you do need a lot of capital. But in my instance, I didn't, and I'm really happy it worked out.
and that's good. And one thing that that is important to look at, especially now, it's partnerships. So you are business partners. So what is the partnership bringing to you? and how do you find it? Is it something that you would recommend, or is it something that so what are the challenges and the opportunity of being in a partnership? And I'll start with Mandy.
Yeah, I think the main thing is just the support, right? So Alysha and I, we chat at least once a week, if not more often, right? So we met each other at our children's school, and just an organic friendship developed out of it. And I will tell you, she is one of my dearest friends at this point in time, and I really honestly didn't even know who she was 5 years ago. And so, but the support that she brings to the table, and the ideation, and just if I'm ever having a bad day or a good day, right, I celebrate with her. I vent to her. She knows what's going on in my household. Just having that natural friend as part of this whole thing has just been such a great value. I am not the most creative person when it comes to putting things together, and so oftentimes she's kind of the creative brain behind my greatness too. And so I think that's really where we're able to really bounce ideas off of each other. We're able to support each other. We're able to lift each other up. And I wouldn't still be here today if it wasn't for her.
Mm-hmm. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
That's really deep, isn't it? What
It
about
is.
you, Alysha?
Isn't this just such a female thing happening right now?
It's
I was just thinking,
fantastic. The
well,
sisterhood, the friendship is just
yes.
amazing.
I
That's
mean,
how it should
I
be.
don't think men in general, okay, I'm just, going to put that in air quotes. They don't share what's going on at home as much. There's not that depth and friendship even between business partners. And I think that occasionally it can muddy the waters. But when it's done in the right way, and I think that you can really be there for each other and help each other on an emotional level too. I think that sometimes people look past that, and it's important. So I agree with Mandy. We lift each other up on a very regular basis. I do for her, she does for me. And yeah, I think we do complement each other quite a bit. And there's several more business partners on our team. And I think that we all bring something else to the table, and we feel so comfortable doing that for each other. We really want to help each other rise. Not only does it feel good, but it fuels ourselves as well. When you help other women rise, it fills your bucket as well. So I think Mandy brings a lot of the things to the table that I don't have. And I'm so grateful for you. So like her spreadsheet savviness is pretty impressive.
That's fantastic, and I like what you said. Is I actually love it. Is that if we uplift another woman, we fill our bucket, and that's the important part. Really see it as everybody winning. In this instead of competing, which is sometimes the killer in all of this. So we're gonna have just a small break here with so Lillian is here. uh, she's very active. To the younger woman, if you feel that you need to go in full, please do just that. Tam will guide you what you need to do. No rush, no pressure. And she also but you earlier you start thinking about income stream, the better. And that's again a good thing to get it, get the knowledge and start, because when we are young we have less things to take care about. So it's really the right time to get focused. And if fear kicks in, women should tell themselves running a house is a business on its own, and most women are doing it extremely well. I love it. I love it, Lillian. Thank you so much for your insight. And we have another person joining for Luke. I think she's joining from Nigeria, actually. So welcome. We're gonna have a break for Luke, and we will be back to continue the conversation and focus really more on the option when we talk about, having multiple stream of income. So don't go anywhere. I will be back very soon.
Tous les soirs, pas quitter madame en câlin, même si vous savez ça, ça fait la peine. Elle est souffert, moi elle souffert.
So we are back. We are back with Mandy and Alysha, and I can assure you that I'm really inspired, and I hope it's the same for you. Just to build on having multiple stream of income. What do you think are the stream of income that you see? Because you talked about going low, with something that is low capital investment and really build from there. So what do you think are some of the key stream of income things that you would recommend for a lot of women? I know it can differ from one country to another, but things that you've seen so far in your journey and that you feel like should be something that a woman pursue.
Sure.
Alysha, please.
Okay, yeah. So I think one, you need to figure out what makes you tick, what you're kind of looking for, because if you find something that you love, you won't feel like you're working a day. So I personally have always loved like taking care of my skin, so that was kind of a natural progression for me when I saw that the opportunity was in skincare. But I think, again, if there is a cost issue, you need to find something that is not going to be a burden. You need to find something that you feel comfortable investing in. And I am a big, solid advocate of the network marketing industry, especially because there's a very low startup. There's a very low startup cost, usually across the board. Not all companies are made alike. They are not all created equal. That is for sure. But you have to really do your homework and look at the companies, look at their income disclosure, look at their business model, look at how they're gonna compensate you, and look at the investment. And if it makes sense, then go for it. Obviously, it needs to be a product or something that you feel comfortable backing, that you can get behind. So, what do you think, Mandy? I'm going to throw it back at you.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I've done, again, in a lot of my research, and I'm a big Kiyosaki fan too. So, some of my readings initially, what is it, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and some of the other series in there, not to promote other people's books, but even in the eyes of those folks, right? Jim Rohn is another one that I love for inspiration. And just talks about all these things, just not to get stuck where you're at today. And a good vehicle for that is really jumping into network marketing, because you do have low entry points. In our particular one, like I mentioned earlier, we don't have inventory, we don't have monthly quotas. We are available in 4 different countries, so we can sell and build teams in those 4 different countries without borders, and that's going to continue to grow. I think it's also, like Alysha said, you've got to get behind something that you believe in. Me personally, I was a tomboy. I didn't care about my skin so much, but as I started getting into, I had just turned 40 when I jumped into this business, so I'll be 46 in April. Is that right? No, I was 42 before I really started washing and taking care of my skin. And the results that I saw and the results that other people saw, that was enough for me. And so that was a big change. But again, from a financial standpoint, it was something that I thought, if I can have this investment paid off in the first 90 days, I'm good. And I personally was able to do that. Not everybody's able to. Other people do even better. But just not having that pressure and being able to go it on my own was really important. But I think just making sure to be with something that's reputable. I think that there are a lot of companies out there that have bad reputations, and there's some that have really good reputations. And I think you just got to do your homework. I mean, that's really what it all has to boil down to. And I think the other thing that's important as well is that you got to trust your gut, right? Oftentimes, so many times, our intuition that is just born in us tells us whether something is good or not. And so for me, I was very excited about this opportunity, and when Alysha and I first had our conversation talking about it, I didn't stop thinking about it. And once I would go to bed, and I just had this excitement brewing in me, and I didn't know, I was less afraid of taking a chance and failing than I was at never seeing what would potentially happen. So for me, it was that, I didn't want to look back a year or two and say, what if I had done that? What would and I tell you now, kind of hindsight 2020, I'm so glad I jumped in and took that leap of faith, because I would not be in the same position I am today, financially, emotionally, spiritually. I just wouldn't, professionally, right? I just wouldn't be here, because some of the training that I've gotten is some of, hands down, the best I've ever had. I'm able to juggle a lot more things than I ever thought possible. And people are like, what's your superpower? They say you can't do more than one thing at a time. And I agree, but I can do a lot of things. And so through all that is really where I would say, don't be afraid of some of these network marketing, because they do offer up substantial opportunities to people that might not otherwise have them.
And I know a lot of people, and a woman particularly, are afraid of selling, because network marketing is about selling.
Yeah.
So we kind of retract from being out there selling a product, or even selling ourselves, and it is a problem. It is a big problem.
Well, you can change that though. We don't sell, we tell. Right. So it's truly about word of mouth. And when people see that physical change in you, whether it be through social media or friends and family, people start asking about it. And so, again, I like to network as well. So I'm always expanding my network. Even introverts, though, can be successful in these kinds of businesses, because people tend to trust them a little bit more too. So it doesn't really matter your personality. It doesn't matter the color of your skin. It doesn't matter your pronoun. Anyone can do this, especially in ours, because everybody has skin.
So one question that I have, because it's Women's Month, and this year it's about breaking the bias. So what are the bias that you've encountered in your journey, and how do you think we can address them?
Where do we
Alysha? Sorry for coming with a big one, but
oh gosh,
in the interest of woman.
Well, I think personally, I'm very pleased that I'm with a very strongly founded company. I mean, the women who started this business, there's no way that anyone could look at them with anything but respect. These two female doctors who started Proactive and brought it around the globe, and then they started their next company, which that was really a huge reason why I got involved. And I think I'm not answering your question, but
take your time. Go ahead.
I feel very strongly that that we are in the right place. I feel good that I'm surrounded by a bunch of female executives and female stay-at-home moms, and we all feel really good about where we are. It's this company's not going anywhere. This is something that is a tried and true product. It's a tried and true brand, and we are on the global path. So I don't even concern myself with any of that. It doesn't even cross my mind, really. I don't know. What do you think, Mandy?
Yeah, I don't care so much about what people think, and I will kind of pivot this in a little bit different direction too. And just in terms of biases of women in business, I've been in a lot of boys clubs, and sometimes I fit in, and sometimes I don't. And I will tell you, there's a little bit of time that I spend worrying about it. And then at the end of the day, I got a job to do, right? And if my job, I think at the end of the day, I know my value, right? I know my value, and not every single woman does. And I would encourage you, if you don't, go find it, figure it out, right? Do your homework and make sure that you understand what men are being paid, or, what other demographics are being paid. Because it's not just men. I don't want to pick on them because I know they're on the show too, but it's not just men, right? I mean, there are different demographics where we are, as women, especially, we have to fight just like any other demographic. And so if you know your value, though, you're just not going to have those same things, because when you have that and you understand who you are and what you are worth, you're going to go ask for that, right? Once you have that level of confidence. And so I saw the note earlier from young professionals, even at a young age, right? Just because you're just out of college, or maybe you only have, somebody will say, oh, well, you only have 3 years of experience. You got 3 years of experience and you have an education potentially, or you bring something to the table, and you have to know exactly what you bring to the table. So one of my other side projects that I like to do is I actually like to help women negotiate their salaries. So I negotiate for a living. I've been doing it for 25 years in my career. So it comes naturally and easy for me because I've got real life on the job training, but not every woman has that. And so I love to work with folks and really go through, when they've got a job offer, let's get you 10% more. The last person that I helped, we got her an extra $20,000. And on an offer that was 90 grand, you do the math, like that's a lot of money. So we had all of the points articulated ahead of time, and she went in and asked for them. It's generally 2 or 3 things people don't think about, and you got to negotiate your salary. And for me, if I can't negotiate my own salary, I have no business negotiating multi-million-dollar contracts, right? So mine is a little bit different, but it's taught me the skills that we all need, men, women alike. We all need to really understand what that value is. The other thing, and I'll wrap it up here quickly, is also really being in touch with your strengths, right? Alysha and I talked about this. She brings a skill set to the table. I bring a different skill set to the table. Together, we are amazing. So I do use a skill, a strengths test, if you will, whenever I'm starting to talk to folks, because people talk about, well, I need to develop these things. Okay, forget about that, right? We're all going to make mistakes. It's what you learn from it. Great. What you bring to the table is generally 3 to 5 top strengths. And if you play to those, you can be an amazing human. You can do anything as long as you play to those strengths. Forget about what you're not good at. You're not ever going to be good at it, because you have innate abilities that you were born with that you just simply cannot change. So why not use them?
I love what you just said, and it's important, and that's why, even me, when I started in male-dominated environment, I came as a victim. I was already looking at all the barriers. I'm a woman, I'm a Black woman, and everything. So I was already disqualifying myself. And then I understood that I had to do it, to have a shift and really focus on what I control and on the value that I bring in the industry, more than the gender or anything else, or the race. And that's how things started to really evolve. And I really like, your perspective about focusing on the result and what we bring, on the value that we create, more than on what people think or the different things that we are lacking, really playing on our strength. And that's very important, because that's when, you don't see at the end the bias, because you're so focused on what you have to do, your mission and your vision, and also the strength and the value that you bring, that you forget about what's going on around you. So it's very important. Whoa, I'm just so pumped up. Go ahead, Mandy.
I want to
change the tape in your head, it has,
Yeah.
if it's negative, you have to change it to positive, right? Because
Yes.
whatever you think is actually going to happen, right? So if you start thinking negatively, negative things are going to happen. So when I feel like that dark cloud is swirling over my head, I immediately turn on something positive, and I immediately start to change those tapes in my head so that more positive things will be brought to my life. And it is so incredible how that magic just happens.
Yeah.
Go
You know
ahead,
what?
Alysha.
Another thing I wanted to piggyback. She was just saying, you know, it's important to really focus and hone in on your strengths and try your hardest to not focus on the things that you're not comfortable with or you're not confident about. You know, today with social media, that can get really muddied very quickly. You can start comparing yourself to every blogger who looks perfect, but be careful because most of them are using a filter. Okay. And you know, like there are so many people, like fake it till you make it. There are so many people just putting stuff out there. Okay. And at the end of the day, you got to worry about this. And we are all given our own strengths. And you can't worry about what the person next door has. You need to really just worry about what you can bring to the table because we all have it. And you need to embrace it and grow it and find people who you can talk to about it. I know that, you know, Mandy, when you were thinking about your next income stream and going into real estate, you didn't just like say, I'm going to do this. You went and you found people who you respect and you talked to them and you tapped into their knowledge and you know, and that helped you feel more comfortable with your next step. And I think that today, you know, people will jump on social media and they'll see what this person has and this person has and what they're putting out there. And it instantly makes them feel like an imposter, like you were saying earlier. But they just need to just turn it off. If that means going off of social media for a few days and looking yourself in the mirror and asking yourself, what do I have? What excites me? What do I feel good about? Write it down. Write down exactly what you feel good about. And remind yourself what you have, because we all have our strengths and we just need to let them shine.
Oh, we all have our strength and we just need to let them. I love this. I love this. So, all the conversation is almost over, but just want you to let us know for people who want to reach out or want to continue the conversation offline, how do we connect with you? And is there anything that is coming up that you want us to support you with? Any event or any program, just let us know. Alysha?
Absolutely. So I'm on LinkedIn. So I would love it if we could connect on here. I'm also on Instagram, which is a little bit different of a platform. So, you know, a little less business-like, but a lot of fun. And I talk a lot about female empowerment. So if that strikes your fancy, then I would love to continue that dialogue. And my Instagram handle is Alysha Global. It's ALYSHA Global, all one word. And maybe we can put it like, you know, somewhere in the comment section of this platform as well. And I'll leave it to you, Mandy. How can we get in touch with you?
Great. So thanks. I too am on LinkedIn, so you can find me under Mandy Masters. One of the things that I enjoy the most is networking with folks. And so I do try to carve out an hour to two every week. The folks that I'm connected to on LinkedIn, I'll generally schedule a 15 to 30 minute conversation with folks. I think it's one thing to have a bunch of followers and numbers. It's another thing. And let me tell you, that network has been so powerful. I've never really had to look for a job except for maybe once in my life because that network is so strong. So I go at that with the purpose of, let me tell you about myself. I want to hear about who you are, and let's figure out ways that we can help each other. So I'm on LinkedIn as well, Mandy Masters, very simple name. I too am also on Instagram as well as Facebook. So So my handles are on Instagram is at Masters of Skincare. So take my last name and then add of skincare. So you can find me both on Facebook and Instagram and those places. And then I will, just this little confession, I don't have fresh material like Alysha. She is very entertaining, but I am known to steal her stuff. So I don't have a creative bone in my body, and I'm not ashamed to do that. So you shouldn't be either.
Fantastic. It has been a very, very insightful session, inspiring. Thank you, Maddie and Mandy and Alysha. And I'm
Thank you
probably
for
going to
having us.
continue this conversation anyway myself. I think 1 hour is a bit short, but it has been a pleasure to have you. I'm really fortunate that you've been able to grace the platform of the Greatness Engineering Hours. And it's really what, it's all about. Really understand that we have this greatness inside of us, and we should just, look inside and unleash it and be confident, own it. And I'm happy that that's the message that you brought today. So any last message that you want to leave the audience with before we close out on the show today? Who wants to start?
I'm noticing, I mean, we can talk about something else, but I just want to make sure that everyone gets Mandy's correct handle. It's Masters of Skincare, because she's fabulous and I want everyone to be able to connect with her. I have to say, she is one of those people that when you get on a phone call with her, she brings out the best in everybody. It's phenomenal. She'll help you find your superpowers. So I want everyone to definitely be able to connect with her. I will leave one just kind of pearl of wisdom that, it's never too early to start something. It's never too late to start something. So if you're young and you are thinking about, can I do this? You absolutely can. And just find somebody who you can chat with, find your strengths, be able to share them, and just try it, because you never know. You might just be great at it. And it's never too late. A lot of people feel like it's too late to start something. They're too old, or they've done something else for too long, and it's too late to switch gears. It's not. And or you can just add it to your plate. And people say, I have this is too much on my plate. Get a bigger plate. You can always add more. Yeah,
there's no limit. There's no limit.
Yeah.
Except the one that you put on yourself. So Mandy, the last word message for you.
I on behalf of both of us, I don't really have any closing wisdom remarks. I just want to take a minute to appreciate you and all that you're doing. I think it's a wonderful thing. This is my first time doing something like this. And just in the intro video that you shared, and just in some of my research of you, I think what you're doing is phenomenal. And I just encourage you to keep it up, because you are the greatness engineer and you're doing great things. And I say, keep going for it. You're just doing amazing things. So thank you. And thank you for having both of us here today.
Thank you very much, Mandy. And I've learned so much from you today. And so it's going to be a great night for me, building on all this knowledge and all this wisdom that you've shared. So for those who've been able to join us today, thank you so much for your participation. And thank you so much for being very dynamic today. I ask you, though, to implement. It's one thing to listen, one thing to appreciate, but the implementation is very important. And please share with your network and with people that you feel like need this, this knowledge. So until, the next episode, which is coming next week, we're going to go again to the US, and it's going to be a gentleman who wrote a book. So we're going to be with Terence Lethbridge, and I think it's going to be an amazing one as well. So thank you so much again, Mandy and Alysha, and take care and enjoy the rest of your day. And for the audience, please, join me for another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show in a week time. So Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.